Hello everyone, and welcome to another tutorial with Zenphi. If you're currently spending hours reviewing sensitive documents for immigration applications, this automation with Zenphi is going to help you save time, reduce errors, and ensure compliance. In this example, we're going to be showing you how using AI we can automatically fill documents such as the I-9. For demonstration purposes, we're going to be handling only part 4 of this specific application. Now for this example, we're going to be using the Zenphi form trigger. What this means is it's going to start the flow whenever a submission is received. It'll start when a user submits the 4 key documents that are being asked for inside of the form. For example, the criminal background check, the military clearance, personal statement, as well as a birth certificate for the user. We have a sample PDF document of the I-9 which we'll be using to be able to fill with our data. So what we're going to do is use our Find File Folder action. You're going to need to set up your connection to Google Drive by clicking on the plus icon. What this is going to do is grant Zenphi permission to be able to access your Google Drive and be able to make any modifications, load the files, etc. And now what we're going to do is send Gemini AI the uploaded files to be able to analyze and answer the questions in part 4, specifically questions 8 through 10. So what it's going to do is it's going to also generate a slight summary of each question. So here we've added a couple rules so that it knows when to answer yes, when to answer no, when it may be unclear. And this is going to allow Gemini to also generate a slight summary. That way we're actually sure of why they're answering in a certain way. And then down at the bottom, as we can see, we have listed the questions in that section. And down at the bottom where it says files, we're going to click on the chain icon, which is our token picker. And what this is going to allow us to do is to be able to load the different documents from the form that we need here. So in this case, I'm loading everything besides the birth certificate. And since we want the response to be in JSON, we're going to make sure we enable this option as well. We would use convert JSON to object to be able to parse the data and be able to have the response for each one of the questions. And now using the birth certificate, we're going to be able to extract their full name. So again, using generate text with Gemini, what we're going to do is ask it to extract first name, middle name, and family name of the person. Again, making sure it's in JSON format. And in files, I'm attaching the birth certificate from the Zenphi form. This is going to allow us to be able to have that information to be able to automatically populate it inside of our PDF as well. Again, we would use JSON to object to be able to parse those fields, and now we're going to go ahead and fill the PDF form. So using our action, fill PDF form, we're going to load the actual payload of the template that we loaded earlier. And then what we're going to do is we're going to map each one of the fields that we want to replace. Now here I have some that are pre-filled with some random values which we are not extracting from anywhere, but you would do this for each one of the questions. So for example here, first name, what we would do is click on the token picker, go to where we extracted the name, and select first name wherever that belongs. If you want to automatically load the fields, you would click load fields and then upload the document here. And again, you would do that for each one. So you would make sure you put the one for no here, the one for yes here, that way it knows exactly where it should be responding. So all you have to do is match up, for example, this one is the one for yes, so you would add the one for yes for that number, and then this one is no. So you have those fields here on the left panel as well. Now as a next step, we're going to go ahead and save the final filled PDF. So we're going to use the save file action. Again, set up your connection to Google Drive. For the payload, we're going to select the payload of the previous action. Then you can choose where you want to save the file. So you can choose a folder from your Google Drive, for example, and you can also change the file name. Now our next action is create document using templates. So we're going to be able to generate that summary report for each user. All you have to do is select which file is going to be used as a template. You're going to choose where you want to save the final file, the name you want to use with it. You can also generate a PDF. And then down at the bottom, you'll see all of the different placeholders, and then you can use the token picker to be able to select where they belong. So this is the template that I'm using. That way you can replace, for example, their name. It'll replace the answers for each one of the questions, why it answered it in a certain way, etc. Make sure you use 2 curly brackets around whatever placeholders you want to replace, and that's going to indicate Zenphi that they should appear here. And now lastly, I want to merge the report with the filled PDF, so I'm going to use the merge documents action. Using the token picker, you can select the output of both files. Just make sure you enable to generate the PDF within the report, which you can do here. After we have done that, we can add a password if we want to, change the name, and then I'm going to go ahead and send the document to the final user. So I'm going to send it to the initiator, and then we can add a body. So we can add a body, we can change the font, add text in bold if we want to, and then we can add any attachments. So for easy access, what I'm adding is the merged document that has the report and the filled PDF, as well as just the filled PDF in case they want to make any changes. So let's go ahead and run an example. So as you can see, once it receives the document, it's going to load the initial template, and then it's going to send to Gemini to analyze. And now it's gone ahead and extracted the name. It's filling out the PDF depending on its answers. Now it's generating the summary report, and it has merged the files and sent the final email. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. As you can see here, we have the final email. We can see that it attached their first and last name here. It attached the report as well as the original filled PDF. So if we open this up, we can see the reason why they responded in a certain way to each one of the questions. And then if we open the actual filled PDF, what we'll have here is the document filled with their information. So here we have the receipt number that we have added, their first and last name, which was parsed from AI. And if we scroll down to part 4, specifically section 8, which is the one that we looked at today, we can see that it filled out these different questions depending on their responses. And that would be everything. As you can see, with the help of automation and AI, you're able to save time on these processes that would otherwise take a very long time. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them down in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time.